evening and welcome to Inside Eve. It's been such a blissful holiday weekend. Oh, I wish all weekends were like that.
I know.
Well, happy holidays, happy Easter. We hope that you're well rested. I'm well rested. I enjoyed my holidays so much. Well, my name is Fome, and with me, as always, are these two beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous.
I know. I know.
You know.
I know.
Oh, come on. You're full of yourself.
No, I can't help it.
You can't help it. It's oozing from you like, what?
What's wrong with both of you?
Confident ladies. Dairy, you inclusive. Stop acting like I'm only speaking to
She just wants
to
the attention.
Bubu.
I know. She knows. What do you know? Good evening.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Yes.
Welcome to the show. Our team is complete, by the way. For those of you that missed the show on Wednesday, Bubu's back. We're still celebrating the return of Bubu.
Ha. See.
Yes, it's a one-week-long
like
celebration.
It's my movie.
Return of Bubu.
It's my movie. Mine. My movie.
Well, it's so good to have you back, Bubu. And it's also really nice to have you guys, our lovely audience, here on the show tonight. Yeah. Well,
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Definitely.
Happy
Easter.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people, they celebrate Christmas more than Easter. What do you guys think?
They celebrate Christmas more than this. Obviously, I think it's because Christmas is at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Doesn't necessarily mean that Christmas is more important than Easter. Which is more important?
Okay, for me, I think Christmas. No, I explain because he was born. No, so he had to be born today, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's
He
my
had to
opinion.
born to. It makes
Had to be
sense.
born. Yeah, but I heard someone say something on radio this morning, and the person said everybody will be born. Everybody's born. But then what you make out of your life when you are exiting is the most important thing, or is the more important thing between the two. So this should be
very important.
the more important
most
one of the two. But like you said, it's the whole end of the year syndrome, you know.
Yeah.
Even Muslims that are not into the Christ thing would celebrate Christmas in some way. Everybody will go shopping.
Yeah.
You won't tell me that everybody in Balogun markets rushing up and down.
Yeah.
Everybody's like Christian, Jesus, I mean.
Definitely.
So it's the end of the year syndrome.
Wow.
Happy Easter anyway.
Yeah, but then it's a celebration anyway. Yeah, we're glad.
What did you guys do this
Well,
weekend?
I spent it with my family. Spent Easter with my family. We went out a lot. It was nice because the roads were so free. I was like, wow, I'm not in Lagos.
It was fun.
It was really nice.
Good time to move around. I had like so much activity. Actually, I have a sleep deficit right now.
You can't wait to finish
I
the
can't wait
show,
to hit the sax, man. I attended quite a number of shows. Don't mommy. I attended AY Live, VIP something.
Nice one, eh?
Yeah, and
nice
I saw a stage play. I just made a conscious effort to go out there. I saw a comedy show, Stand Up Nigeria. You know, I feel good that I took advantage of the season.
But then you need to
I had
sleep.
fun.
So.
Yeah.
I slept.
And you, Bubu?
Yeah, I went out to an event, fashion show, and like spoken word open mic. So it was cool. It was nice.
Yeah,
although the rain started falling after a while.
What?
No, I just remember that I emceed an event where someone did some crazy spoken word.
It was dope, right? It was dope. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, later, right?
We'll talk about it.
Now we need to go on a quick break. And when we get back, there's a lot of gist for you guys. Stay tuned.
You don't do. I don't tire for all the things where you dey yarn.
You dey yarn no pata. Shey you think say na only you fit buga? I go show you.
You dey show yourself all these years. I just dey look you. This time you go know the kind person we are.
I been dey watch as you dey try scatter my future.
The future wey I dey try organize for myself, small. Na him you dey try kill abi?
Na to kill, scatter, and destroy my paroles always do your agenda, abi? Oh, but you know fit oh, not this time.
I don't set my own agenda.
I know how way your agenda go fit pass my agenda.
Because my agenda strong past your agenda.
For this election, the agenda now.
It's our future.
No violence.
Just vote.
Set the agenda for this election. No violence, just vote.
ladies and gentlemen. You're on to Inside Eve, where you have three really, yes, I mean it. The really, even in capital letters. Gorgeous, gorgeous ladies.
Go ahead.
Attending to you, to your every need.
Not your every need. No, not every
Not
need.
your every
You
need.
see, that need needs
Oh,
to
that
be...
came out wrong.
Yes.
No way.
Okay, guys.
That came out so wrong. Okay, moving on.
But first of all,
Before you had too much chicken over the weekend.
Before we talk about the gist around town, we need to say happy birthday to somebody.
Ooh, yeah.
It's
We need to, it's important, right?
It's our girl's hubby's
Yeah.
birthday today. And although we've called him to sing a song, a happy
Sing to
birthday song,
him.
we also want to just tell you from inside
Yeah.
Eve, we love you.
Happy
and
birthday.
we want to say happy birthday to you, Daddy Xavier.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We know you're watching. So, yes, make sure you call into the show as well.
Yeah,
Many happy
birthday from Inside
returns. May you
Eve.
celebrate many more after now.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you on his behalf.
Oh,
Thank you.
Isn't that sweet? Okay, so
He'll call in to tell us, so. Okay.
moving
Yeah,
on
right.
from that. Okay, guys, this weekend. Okay, now I don't know how true this is, but there's
True, I
just
saw photos.
okay. Well,
Well,
you know, sometimes there are photos and you don't know whether it is true or not because it is delirious. But then again, the story is there was this chick who went into the mall in her wedding gown. Now, a lot of people are speculating and they're saying she went into the store, probably to shop, right, to get a butcher's knife.
Oh my God.
Maybe she wants to kill the man who jilted her.
Calm down now.
Sorry, I was just trying to, it's the story. I was just trying to build a story here. But I don't know how true
Someone
it
is in trouble, oh God,
Well,
please.
no. We saw pictures, yes, and I'm pretty sure they'll be flashing on your screens right now. But guys, do you think it is possible? You think she went to get a butcher's knife or...
Publicity stunt.
Exactly.
Why
Is it
else
that
would
she's
she
crazy
be
or
in
is
a
it
wedding
publicity
dress
stunt?
without a groom in a mall, in a busy mall?
Maybe
in
he left her at the
Maybe it's
altar
an
and then she
advert. Maybe a new wedding ticket.
What
No,
wedding
true.
thing?
No, maybe a new wedding designer has just designed his piece or her piece
please.
and wants to show it off. in
And
a
then
mall.
next weekend, someone else will wear something
I'm telling you.
on Third Mainland Bridge.
On
and then
third
want to fly off the bridge, girlfriend.
That's ridiculous.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Well,
your
we're trying to decipher why a young lady would be in a mall in a wedding dress.
Like it's...
You know, when I read that story, I thought, okay, maybe they got married and then they had to grab a few things because after I got married, I didn't change. We went to get food, but that's understandable because my husband was there, but she was alone.
Then you enter into a mall to buy a knife. Yeah.
It's
No,
speculation.
some people said that it's not, you know, it's
But
not
that she
certain.
probably
According to
went
the gist.
to get a butcher's knife.
Please, people should go.
It's scary though.
She was probably on the, you know, the aisle where somebody just looked, maybe she's coming for this knife. Nigerians just put one and one together and make 50.
You know, I don't know who you are, but if you
I
were
hope she's
jilted, we're
okay.
sorry that you were jilted. And if you're contemplating getting a knife, get two. I'm just joking.
But I don't think she would have been jilted.
I'm just
She
joking.
would have had people around her
maybe
who would
she's
allow her
sick.
just go. I'd rather go with the publicity or marketing
Yeah,
stunt.
I
I
think
think
I'll
I'll
go
go
with
with the
Safer.
fact that she was probably like Bubu.
All right, so that's
Whatever
what I
it
think.
is, man. Or you're for
Well,
her.
Anyway.
From the runaway bride to a couple, guess what? Who has won a lottery twice in 2 years?
Did I tell you I'm related to them?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
By the way, it's called the Euro Million Lottery.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the tickets. I'm going to Google it. I need to play that lottery. They beat the odds of 283 billion to 1. What are the
283
odds?
And that's
billion
the second
people?
time. That's the
Yeah.
second time, right?
That's the second time. They won the first time in 2013.
Time around.
If they're in Nigeria, they'll say they use juju.
And they won again in 2015, but that's a lot of luck.
That is some luck.
That's a
Wow,
lot of-
whatever it is they're doing it so well. Like, seriously.
And do you know what I've noticed about people
Okay.
who win lotteries and that kind of money? It never lasts.
It's because they're not
always
prepared
squander
for it.
They
No, but
always
wait.
squander it.
Not all
See,
the time, though.
Most
Why
of them
I have a
don't.
challenge is this. You've won the lottery once. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma. Why are you playing again?
Because they want more.
They need to
Only
play
the twist,
again.
you have to- you
know, I
always
thought
want
about
more.
that as well, but then it's a free and
Why
It's
are
free.
they-
How much they...
Why are they playing again? What
They
are
need to
the
play a
rules?
game, but then those people, the organizers of the lottery, they need to put like a ban
cap.
on people that maybe have
If you've won before,
maybe
don't play
twice.
again.
Don't play again.
Don't
Maybe
play
if
again.
you've won it once, man.
So that the wealth can be
It's
spread.
like this you win thing. I hear if you've won the grants from federal government, forget it. You can't go back for
Because
it.
there's so many people to, you know, that
Try
can
it
also
in
have the
Nigeria, you win
chance to-
twice. You won't even sleep
That's
on
what I
this
said.
land.
They'll say you have. They'll say
Just
you
cross
have
the
some-
border
But
that night.
that's okay. They'll just relocate.
But congratulations to them anyway.
No, I'm beefing
Ooh.
you. What? Yeah,
You
beefing
millions
Congratulations.
lottery.
Beefing you.
I'm
Rejoice with them that
play you.
rejoice.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, speaking about money and people jumping into money, some weeks back, there was this Nigerian lady, a cleaner, somewhere around the federal... Fan, thank you.
Fun.
Anyway, around the airport, she used to clean, or she still cleans there. And as at the time she found the money, she was cleaning, she found a bag, I think about $28,000. So that's about 12 million naira or something.
That's a lot of
And
money.
That
or
is,
more.
right?
She found it, you know, she returned it. People really dissed her on the internet. People said, you're going to
Hey,
remain poor for the rest of
telling
your
you.
life.
horrible.
This
That's
and that,
unfair.
you know. She showed a lot of honesty, integrity. And the owner of the bag just came to her, collected the bag according to news and stories on the internet, collected the bag, looked at her and said, thank you, and walked away. It's expected that you would even tear the girl like $500, man. Guess
she
what? Her
didn't ask for
salary
anything.
then was 7,800, and she got a salary increase to 15,000 naira.
Yeah.
Womp, womp, womp,
Like
womp.
seriously.
Like seriously, that's the right soundtrack, man. 7,800 to 15. And you know her employers came out to say, we have increased our salary. And I'm like, excuse you. Can 50,000 naira buy one tire
With the
for
current
you?
state of the economy and all of that.
And she was even speaking well. She was like, they increased my salary. Anyway, the news on ground right now is not about that. I'm sure we already know what happened then. We heard that the Redeemed Evangelical...
Trem.
Trem. Thank you,
short.
Bishop. Bishop Michael Kunko's church gave her 12 million.
Are you serious?
That's the gist. But it's still, you know, it's not
We're not
really
sure yet.
confirmed.
We're not
However,
sure
on
of
Trem's
the
page, yes, they said they
amount,
rewarded
right?
her with some money, but they did not mention how much.
Yeah,
But-
specify the amount.
But you know, Nigerians know how to add 1 and 1 make 15. So according
12
to
million.
According to
That's a lot of
blog
money. I hope
sites,
that's
according
true
to Gist,
anyway.
they say 12 million.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of
No,
money.
no.
It's going to flip
no.
her world. Like,
Downside up.
I don't know, man.
But she
Sideways up.
deserves it, whatever the case is, whether it's going to flip her world upside down, whether she's going to squander it, she deserves it.
But you know
don't
what I
find that
like
kind of
about
honesty.
I like the
These
fact that she
days-
was honest, and I like the fact that it was a church that took it upon themselves to reward her, which is a good light.
Yes, and then people are not really making noise about the church
Yeah.
rewarding somebody now. Let the church collect 419's money or do something bad. Everybody will carry placard and begin to...
Dare it.
No, but seriously, when people do good stuff, people don't really go on and on and on about it. We should celebrate good stuff.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
should
You know,
celebrate
another
good
thing
stuff.
that really, like, you know, when we're talking about this lady, one thing that really struck was that she was very honest about it. And then when you mentioned that a lot of people, bloggers and people's stories were like, you're going to suffer, you're going to die poor, I realized that Nigerians are funny people. If she had taken that money, they would insult her.
course,
Your generation will go to hell,
Definitely.
blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
yeah.
They would say that. And then, which brings me to this. Today when I was coming, before I came to work, I was walking on the street and I saw a little girl. I just walked past her, like, I mean, I don't know her. And then she said, good afternoon, ma. And I said, good afternoon. And I was wondering, why did she greet me? Like, I felt whoever has that
out of
child
place.
would have trained her. And I think all this has to do with training of, she probably has a good
Definitely.
parent who has trained her up.
Definitely. And you know, from the
properly.
stories, you know, that surrounded, you know, the gist then when it first came out, this is not the first time she's returning like a bag, someone's bag, she's returning, you know, people's belongings to them. This just goes to show that there's still a reward for honesty. You know, we know that with the current state of the country, with the economic situation and all of that, many of us will be tempted to take that money quietly and just,
never
you know...
say never. I can't say that this is what I would do or what I would have done.
No, I'm just saying many people would be tempted.
Until it comes. But don't drop
Yeah,
your
right.
bag
You
on
will
me.
carry it, there is. No, you...
Till then, for me.
Just joking.
Till then.
Well, we need to go on a quick break right now. And when we get back, we're going to continue along the same lines which we did on Wednesday, discussing on the issue of couples trying to conceive. We have our guest, Dr. Oyesakin, back here in the studios. There were a lot of questions unanswered. Tonight, we're going to tackle them. We're going to trash it.
Trash it, trash it, trash
Well, please stay tuned and we'll be back in
numbers.
a bit.
We need to let them know that they have to call in.
Definitely.
They have to call in today.
Please call in. We have questions. I'm sure all of you out there have questions also. The numbers to call in on tonight are 0809-2222-83. And Bubu, please help me.
It's 08091 2222-83.
Yeah, right.
08091 2222-84. There is
0091 222285 08091 222286.
She brought
No,
it.
man, you guys.
You better learn the dance.
I'll learn it, don't worry. Sipping in gradually.
And of course, they need to.
Yeah, of course, on
our Twitter page.
all our social media circles, please. On Twitter, you can find us at R2_TV. You can tweet at us, and please do follow us. On Facebook, our page is MyR2TV. Please like our page, yes, and stream live right there on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget our app. If you've got a smartphone, be it an Apple phone, a BlackBerry, a Windows phone, kindly download our app and enjoy seamless transmission. Yeah. That app is fabulous.
Definitely.
So we're going on a quick break right now. Yeah, right now, and we'll see you in a bit. Please don't go away.
Still inside Eve.
Welcome to Body Matrix.
My name is Tulu Ajayi, and you're watching Short in Short.
This is Girls Pod, where we chill, gist, and most of all, have fun.
My name is Ruby Gang, and you are here to watch the Ruby Gang edition of High on Fire.
High on Fire.
Yeah, Bubu's the crazy one. Don't be deceived. She's crazy.
I'm your main guy, Illo with the flow, you know how we do it, and I am with the flow. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Skype, you name it. There's also Vine. We are entertainment at its best on R2 TV.
Keep watching R2 TV.
This is cool DJ Jimmy Jad, you know.
R2 TV, keep it locked every day, you heard?
So what is love? Love is different to different people. But to me, love is everything. Love is kind, love is patient, love knows no wrong, love is beautiful. And yes, Bubu, I'm in love. I am a firm believer of love. With love comes trust. So if you want to be in love, better trust. Love is R. Love is real. Love is R2 TV.
Welcome back to the show. You're still watching Inside Eve. Yes, we're not done with you guys yet. Like we're dealing with you. Well, welcome back to the show. It's time to go on now to, the main topic for tonight. We're going to build up from last week. Last week we spoke about trying to get pregnant, trying to conceive. It's an issue that is faced by so many couples these days. And we had a guest on the show, Dr. Oyesakin Babatunde, who's a medical doctor, presently doing his residency in obstetrics and gynecology. So, Doctor, you're welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for finding the time. I know you guys, you doctors,
this
get really busy. Yes, to join us
Thanks
on the
for having
show.
me.
So we're just going to quickly go through like a summary of what we discussed on Wednesday. I think you should do that because you're the professional.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, on Wednesday, we described what infertility was. We defined it as a failure of a couple to get pregnant after having regular unprotected intercourse for 2 years. We described what regular intercourse was, at least 3 times a week. We also stressed the need for it to be unprotected. We gave an account of how much of a burden infertility was in this environment,
especially women,
and the fact that women bear the brunt of that burden. We discussed the common causes of infertility, and we stressed the need to seek help early, and specifically professional help. We also tried to debunk some of the myths people have about infertility and trying to get pregnant. And we said a note or two about assisted reproductive technology.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. You know, one of the things we didn't mention at all is the fact that, first of all, to get pregnant, a woman has to be able to determine her fertile days. Many women don't know this. And it takes a lot of calculation. Like when I read about it, I was like, what? Your safe period, when you're fertile and all of that, when you're ovulating. Can you please briefly touch on that?
Okay, well, what you mean is how to know, how the woman will know when she's fertile.
Yes.
What part of her cycle she ovulates.
The signs and all of that.
Well, first of all, it's always better if a woman keeps record, what we call a menstrual diary or a menstrual record. She keeps record of when she menstruates and specifically marks the dates on the calendar.
It sounds like a lot of work already.
It is. Well, there are apps for such things now.
Okay.
There are apps for everything now.
Do you have the app?
I don't have the app.
But there are no apps for getting pregnant. But there are apps for menstrual diary. You can just make a quick record so that you will know. Okay. The first day of your period is the first day of your menses, when your menses starts flowing. That's regarded as day 1 of your menstrual cycle. Now, most women will have between a 25 to 32-day menstrual cycle. That is from the first day of the period to the first day of the next period.
That's the cycle.
Yeah, that's the length of the cycle.
Okay.
Now, we take 28 days as the average length, but most women will differ somewhat. It might be a little bit less, a little bit more than that. But taking the average cycle length to be 28 days, women should be aware that the second half of the cycle has a constant length. And it's 14 days. That's the period from when ovulation occurs to when menstruation starts.
That's the second half.
That's the second half of the cycle. But it's fairly constant, 14 days.
Between when the menstruation starts and ovulation.
And ovulation that differs. And that's what, to a large extent, determines the length of the cycle. And that's what accounts for the variation in cycle length from woman to woman. So if you have a 26-day cycle, as by way of illustration, and you have a 30-day cycle, what it means is you ovulate, the second half of your cycle being 14 days, Which means the period from the first day of your menses to ovulation will be 12 days, while yours will be 16 days. It's very important because if you have an idea of how long the period will be from when you menstruate to when you ovulate, you can time it to a large extent. So if you know your cycle length, you keep a menstrual diary, and you know that you're likely to ovulate, if you have a 28-day cycle, as we assume for most women, you're likely to ovulate on the 14th day of that cycle. Now, it can vary a little bit.
It's very technical.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit cumbersome, but it's important. It's more important, I must stress.
It's very, very important.
In women who perhaps do not have the luxury of living with their husbands all the time. If the husband has sort of job where he travels a lot, so they may need to time their intercourse to coincide with the period of ovulation. But if you stay with your husband and he doesn't travel all the time, or you don't travel all the time, and you have the luxury of being able to have intercourse at least 3 times a week, you'll be covered.
So that whatever the case,
whenever ovulation lets it occur, you'll be covered for that month. That's the essence. But it's important for those who can't have sex 3 times a week, or those who we are planning to assist to get pregnant in terms of assisted reproductive, because we need to be able to time when they ovulate so that we can then make some interventions.
That's very interesting, because I'd read about it and I thought I knew most of these things, but I didn't know that the second half remains a constant.
It's fairly constant,
And then
another thing, there are some signs that women can look out for so that they can pinpoint exactly when they ovulate. Some women will have pain, abdominal pain. We call it mittel schmerz.
Is it like
a slight sharp pain for a few hours around the time of ovulation. If you pay attention to it, you might notice.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like
you just feel around the time when you ovulate.
What? It makes me a normal woman. You know, it's funny that it now sounds like a big deal. Just when we have someone that is trying to conceive. These are the things we just glide over, like you don't take note of them.
Yeah, that's one. Another thing, if you pay attention to the sort of discharge you get, because most women will have some degree of discharge at certain times of the cycle. If you pay attention to the type, you'll notice that around ovulation, the nature of the discharge changes. It becomes a little bit, it's thinner and it's stretchy.
I thought it was going to say thick.
No, it's thin.
So the thick one
thick one usually happens after ovulation, close to menses. The thin one occurs around ovulation.
So that's
and
the
it's
ovulation
stretchy.
menses.
It's stretchy.
Sorry. That's the ovulation mucus.
Yes.
I'm trying to get the terms right.
What it means, it's thin so that they can allow the sperm to penetrate easily. So it's thin and it's stretchy.
So with the thick one...
It's more. Maybe that's the difference. It's not thick, it's thin. It's stretchy and it's more than you will get at other times of the cycle. So people who pay attention to the kind of discharge they get will be able to pick that. There are also kits. There are home tests that women can use.
Yeah, I saw something like that.
Test the level of a hormone, luteinizing hormone. That hormone is usually released 24 to 36 hours before ovulation occurs. So if you use that kit, it's a urine kit. It will be able to tell you to a fair degree of accuracy when ovulation will occur. And other things you might notice, other signs, you might notice feeling a little bit antsy when you're ovulating. You know, the libido increases. That's what I'm
I don't know. I wouldn't know about that.
I know about that. I know.
Your partner becomes a little bit more desirable around that period. That's nature's way of telling you.
For everybody or just some
most women?
Most women.
If you pay attention, you might notice that if you feel a bit antsy, you're likely to be ovulating around that period.
The way this thing is designed is like...
Yes, nature is designed in such a way that if you find your partner more desirable around that period, the whole thing is designed towards evolution for you to get pregnant.
Procreation and all that.
So that's how we are wired as human beings.
Wow.
There are more cumbersome methods. There's the temperature method where
I've heard about that.
Check your body temperature, but it's very cumbersome because it involves you checking your body temperature every morning
That's work.
and then keeping a record and then you are watching out for 0.5 to 1 degree centigrade.
Sounds
rise
like
in
it.
temperature.
It's easy. In fact, it's a lot of work.
I don't usually recommend that because it's criminal. Very few women can pay attention to that level of detail. Also, there are some things that may fuddle up the results. If, for instance, you have a fever for any other reason, in Nigeria, for example, malaria is flying around so it will fuddle up your results and make it difficult for you to predict when you're ovulating.
Can I ask a question? Now, this is for a normal person. Like, you're supposed to find or have your ovulation somewhere in between your cycle. Some people who are, like, having difficulties with conception, are there chances that they have, like, hormonal imbalances that would affect even the ovulation, the cycle,
Yes, absolutely. Ovulation, well, what we usually do when we are evaluating couples who have problems conceiving is that if the woman menstruates regularly, we assume and we are fairly confident to a large extent that she will be ovulating because it's one of the most common signs of ovulation. The fact that you can menstruate regularly. Although you can menstruate without ovulating, but it's unlikely. If you're menstruating regularly, you're likely to be ovulating. There are some problems that might interfere with the process of ovulation itself. There might be, because it's a delicate chemical balance. These processes, menstruation, ovulation, conception, are controlled by hormones, chemical substances that are released by the body. So they are maintained at a delicate balance. So there might be problems with the hormones which might interfere with the process of ovulation. For instance, if a woman has a higher than normal level of a particular hormone called prolactin. Prolactin. That's the hormone. That's the hormone that controls the secretion of milk by the breasts. Normally you only should secrete milk when you are breastfeeding, when you are lactating. But if you notice secretion of milk when you haven't recently got pregnant and you're not breastfeeding, it might mean that hormone prolactin is higher than normal. So if that hormone gets higher than normal, it may send a message to the body that you shouldn't ovulate. Because you remember, women who have breastfed before will know that sometimes when they are breastfeeding, they don't menstruate. So it's mainly the work of that hormone, prolactin. So if that hormone is higher than normal, women who are not breastfeeding, they may not menstruate regularly. There are other factors. There are disease conditions, for instance, polycystic ovarian syndrome, where they have cysts in the ovaries. They may not ovulate regularly.
Is that what they call ovarian cysts?
Well, ovarian cysts might occur, but there's a specific entity called polycystic ovarian syndrome. There's specific terms which we use to diagnose that condition. It doesn't just include ovarian cysts. There are other things that make up that syndrome. And women who have that will find difficulty ovulating.
How about fibroids?
Well, fibroids will not affect ovulation, but fibroids and infertility is a rather controversial topic because we in gynecology believe that women with fibroids can get pregnant. Because women get pregnant with fibroids all the time.
A friend of mine has 2 kids already.
People get pregnant with fibroids all the time. However, some fibroids can interfere with the process of conception. If, for instance, the fibroid is located in a place where it's applying pressure on the tubes, or it's distorting the lining of the womb, that's the endometrial cavity, it may affect the woman's chances of getting pregnant. So what we do is, if we are investigating a couple for infertility and we cannot find any other cause, which means we've done blood tests, we've checked their hormones, the woman is ovulating, the man is fine, we can't find any reason, and she has fibroids, we can then say, okay, let's take out the fibroids and see if that will help you. In such couples, they might notice a 30 to 80% improvement in their conception rate after the surgery to remove the fibroids.
Even when it's not, when the fibroid doesn't look like a threat, when it's not sitting on fallopian tube.
Yes, if you can't find any other reason, we'll take it out.
To increase our chances.
And if you want to, you're advising the couple to have assisted reproductive technology as well, we always advise the woman to remove fibroids if we know that she does. They say any fibroid greater than 3 centimeters will be removed, usually, if you're going to have assisted reproductive technology.
We've been going on and on about the woman. How about the man? I read that temperature high temperatures kills the sperm?
Well, yes. If you recall, I said last week that men are as responsible for infertility as women. In fact, it's equal percentage. But we get away with it because
the society.
A lot of people just assume that it's the woman's burden to bear. But men do contribute to infertility significantly. We might find that, I think we have a call. I believe we have a call.
All right.
Okay, we have a call.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, I'm calling from Apulegua. My name is Diane.
Hi, Diane.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, if for ovulation, if you're trying to get a boy child, when is the best day to, do the stuff?
Okay,
To
doctor.
okay.
Okay, doctor.
Okay, thank you, Diane. We addressed this last week.
Yes,
Perhaps Diane wasn't watching. Not Diane.
You weren't watching.
Well, there is no scientifically proven way to determine the sex of your child other than pre-implantation genetic diagnosis.
Hey,
which is,
that?
I know, it sounds very complicated, but essentially it's an assisted reproductive technique where they can take the man's sperm and the woman's egg, put them together, make a baby essentially, and then check the sex of the baby. They can make 3 of such, and then pick the sex that you want and implant it into the woman.
Yeah.
So and I remember, if you remember, I said that it has some ethical issues because people will then wonder what will happen to the other 2
babies
that you don't
Are you
implant.
going to throw them away?
Will you donate them? Will you throw them away and all that? Now, people have a lot of myths surrounding determining the sex of the baby because it's very important in this environment. And most others around where they are mainly patriarchal societies. People will say the man should stay on top, the woman should stay on top. They should hold on to the bedpost. They should have.
Put his leg on the wall.
They should have sex against the door.
What style have you tried, Diane? It's so funny.
But none of this. Some will even time it to the moon. They will say if you have sex when there's a full moon, you're likely to have a boy and all that. But there hasn't been any scientifically proven method to affect the sex of the.
I hope that answers your question. Diane?
Yes, to an extent. I'm okay with the explanations.
Okay, thank you so much for calling in. Thank
Always
you.
watch Inside Eve, Diane.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you. Anyway, all right. I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I know of a couple that had issues with childbearing for like 13 years. Now,
sorry to interrupt. Okay. We have another caller.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening, my dear. How are you guys doing?
Very well, thank you. And how are you?
Okay, my name is... I'm fine. I'm doing well.
Okay, that's good to know.
Your name is?
I'm calling from Ghana. Please, I want to know from the doctor that... once I used to date one girl, and the lady was having her menses. She wasn't having menses, not knowing she was 3 months pregnant. We never knew. Before we realized the pregnancy was about 5 months. So I want to know from doctor how far that one still happened.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's possible to have bleeding during pregnancy, although it's a bit unrelated.
Is it menses?
Bleeding. It's a bit unrelated to the topic at hand, but we should address it anyway. Women, there are various reasons why women bleed in pregnancy. Bleeding in pregnancy is not the menses.
Oh, I see.
But a lot of women will mistake it for the menses.
But what of the timing, the interval, the cycles?
Yes, I will talk about that. First of all, earlier in pregnancy, there's something called an implantation bleed. Around the time, remember last time I was here, I explained how the sperm swims through the woman into the tube, meets the egg, baby is formed, and then baby swims back into the womb, and then it implants. Around the time when it's implanting, because essentially what it's doing, it's bearing itself into the lining of the womb. So it's not uncommon for some bleeding to occur. And note that this will be happening around the time when she's expecting a period, because she most probably will not know she's pregnant at that time. Okay. So you might have an implantation bleed and then mistake it for your normal menstruation. So while you are having your menses, you might already be a month pregnant.
Okay, menses in code now.
Yeah, what you think is menses, but actually just an implantation bleed. And then further along in the pregnancy, also early in the first 2 or 3 months, the process of abortion may occur. The man may be about to have a miscarriage.
Okay.
So what we call a threatened miscarriage may occur where there will be some bleeding noticed from the vagina. We have a call.
Okay, and then she'll think it's
She might think it's menses.
I hope that answers your question. Hello.
I don't think
I think we lost that call. Yeah, but I'm sure you watched and you listened. We
Hello.
have another caller, yet another caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, this is Moses Ward from Kogi State.
Hey, Bubu is not on right now.
Welcome to the show.
Hi to everyone.
We're good.
We're very well, thank you.
Let me say hi to our doctor.
Oh, yes, please do.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question, please.
Go on.
I know a couple who are married and they every time, this is the third time they will have pregnancy and the baby will die in the womb of the woman. Please, doctor, what possibly could have been the cause of a baby that is a pregnancy that took place and about 4 months into it, the baby will just die. It happened the first time, the second, and the third time now. Please, what could be the possible way to solve this problem?
Okay.
That's my question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
What you've described is a woman having recurrent spontaneous miscarriage. That is 3 or more spontaneous loss of pregnancy. Depending on the age of the pregnancy, you said it was about 4 months. Most of the time, in the first trimester, that is the first 3 months roughly of pregnancy, if a miscarriage occurs, it is most likely as a result of a chromosomal abnormality. Sorry, another
abnormality.
Big term alert. When the sperm meets the egg, it's what happens is a result of some complex genetic processes. The sperm has undergone some divisions, so has the egg. So when they come together, they fuse and then they form a baby. In that process, there might be a mistake or two, an error or two.
Nature makes errors.
Nature makes errors.
Oh.
Wow.
It's not a perfect process by any means.
Wow.
In fact, it's more common than you think. Up to 20% of pregnancies will be lost spontaneously.
Wow.
But because a lot of women will not be aware, the loss will occur around the time when she's expecting her period. And so she will think it's just it might be a pregnancy that has come down. So that may occur. That's the commonest cause in the first 3 months.
Okay.
It's usually a chromosomal abnormality.
Okay,
but nature also takes care of its errors. So makes moves to reject or get rid of that abnormal pregnancy. Now, in the second trimester, it might be as a result of weakness in the cervix. The cervix is the mouth of the womb. It supports a developing baby. So if the cervix is weak, it might be as a result of damage, as a result of a congenital abnormality. The woman may lose the pregnancy in the second trimester. She may also have some medical problems, like uncontrolled diabetes and all that, and may also cause. So they need to be evaluated. They need to be evaluated for that. There's some tests.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Moses World. We have yet another caller. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Evening. Okay, good evening. My name is Adesola and I would like to contribute.
Okay, please go ahead.
I just want to be very sure first about the topic of today, which is about couples, trials and pains when going through expecting.
Yeah, couples trying to conceive.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a great topic, and I really appreciate this topic coming on, because with our nature and culture, it makes it tough for a woman to cope through the trials and pains of expecting and waiting. Even the first phase is when you don't have one and you're waiting, and all the ideas that can be put in your head, how people greet you, and when people tease you like you just got married, and 6 months after you realize that people are, for the females, people are like almost greeting you and looking straight in your tummy and checking if you're pregnant.
Sorry to interrupt you. Could you please speak up a bit? Your voice sounds a bit faint.
Is it clearer now?
Yeah, just speak up a bit. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
it's usually a trying time that requires a lot of support from everybody. If only we will stop judging people and what culture has put in us subconsciously, that yes, marriage is good for multiplication, but also when it doesn't come, the added pressure of the community asking you questions like, are you waiting? Why are you waiting? What is going on? Questions like that put a lot of couples under pressure that is not necessary. That may not just be any of their fault. Sometimes it could be genetic, medical, or whatever the situation is, or something they are not doing right, or something they are doing right sometimes. But it doesn't just happen for them at the time they are expecting. I just went through it with a family friend of mine who waited 5 years. But down the line today, I'm glad that the person is carrying his own children, twins, as a matter of fact.
Wow, twins.
But through the wait, it was not funny.
Yeah, I
can only imagine.
Not funny at all.
I can only imagine.
But today, everybody is excited for them. Everybody has even forgotten the pain of the 5 years.
But she can never forget, really.
But the pressure and the pain that the community adds to the already
existing
mounted pressure on the couple themselves. I think the pressure that the couple is placing on themselves is not enough. The community adds so much to that pressure and pain that makes it almost unbearable. That sometimes when you're involved, you don't want to go out, you don't want to face people, because for the man it's easy. For the woman, it's way more difficult, because the first thing people look at is your tummy and then ask you,
how far?
You're really wasting time, how far? That's even first sight for someone who hasn't had a child. How about someone who has a first child and then decides to plan their life, maybe in 3, 4 years? And then they begin to ask you, don't you think you're wasting time?
As in, like, you create this, oh God.
You raised a very, very important, a very, very important point. And we actually spoke about this last week. Like, the only option, really, the only solution, rather, is for, the couple to remain together, to remain positive.
On the same page.
It's not easy, but then what can they do? And work together towards, and staying focused. I can't even imagine the amount of torture and stress and depression and all of that couples like that go through.
And I also think, like you have done now, like we are doing, everybody needs to pass the message across that sometimes it is not necessarily the fault. In fact, most times it's not necessarily the fault of those that are trying to conceive, and they should be supported.
It's not even, that's the bottom line. That's where I want to mark the red. It is not about whose fault it is. It is not even whether there is a fault or not.
Okay.
If I come from the religious side, because I'm a religious person, this is the way I deal with issues. If I have not taken time to commit you in prayer into the hands of God, I stand no place to judge you. So that is my business,
That's another one.
asking you what is going on.
That's so correct.
When it is not like I have prayed for you, 1, or 2, when the baby comes, I'm going to give the baby a scholarship. So what's my business? If only we would even mind our business.
Yes, that's so true. Thank you so much for calling.
So much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling.
And shout out to Bubu. I like your show. I love your show. Thank God you picked my call today. Last week you didn't pick my call.
So sorry about that. Please keep calling and keep watching. Thank you so much for calling.
I appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Really
Good night.
appreciate it.
Thank
you very much.
Bye.
I think Doctor wants to say something.
We have another caller.
Adesola was having a go at men, I believe.
No, well, I think no. It's another caller generally.
Okay, society. Well, what can we do? We can only educate them
people
so that they can respect the privacy of a couple, and understand that not everybody wants to get pregnant immediately. Some people are trying to get pregnant and they can't get pregnant. They don't need that extra pressure, the extra stress.
Thank you, doctor. Okay. We have another caller.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. This is Moses Ward.
Oh, yeah, you're calling back.
Yes, sir.
He's always so lucky to get through.
Please, I'm sorry. I still have another question for my doctor.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Please, doctor, if a a woman is pregnant, if she's having itching or what we usually call toilet disease, does it affect the ongoing pregnancy?
Okay.
That's the question.
All right.
Does it have any effect on the growing fetus?
Right. Thanks for your question, sir. Well,
God bless you, sir.
Depending on the sort of infection she has, some might, but most don't. That's the good news. There's a specific type called bacterial vaginosis, which may cause her to fall into labor earlier than she normally would. But most of the vaginal infections we have in pregnancy will be yeast infections, as candida, and those do not have any significant effect on the growing baby. But whatever the case is, once you have any itching or discharge or any complaints, just report them to your obstetrician. Yes,
definitely.
they will be in the better position to evaluate you and tell you which ones are dangerous and which ones are not.
Okay.
Thank
you know, there was something I was trying to talk about before our call started coming in. I was talking about a couple friend of mine that waited for 13 years.
Yes.
Now, this is Nigeria. We cannot take away the fact that we would tag this wait spiritually. I want to ask you, as a medical personnel, sir, from what you have seen, from what you know, we have what you may call hopeless cases. Maybe the person doesn't have fallopian tubes, the person doesn't have a womb. Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe that some hopeless cases, because I know there might be somebody watching that would feel like, well, okay, I'm talking about ovulation, I'm not even ovulating, I don't have a fallopian tube, I don't have this, I don't have that. Have you seen cases where you'd be like, this one is more than medicine?
Well,
interesting.
I have to pick my words carefully. Okay, first of all, we should be aware that medical technology and science has gone so far now that there will hardly be couples that will not be helped one way or the other by assisted reproduction. The techniques are so far advanced now. You know, they can go as far as transplanting a womb.
Oh, wow.
If a woman doesn't have a womb,
they
can take a womb and give her.
Not in
Nigeria. Not yet. Not yet in Nigeria.
If they won't give you a womb,
not
yet.
Not yet in Nigeria. They can go as far as having a uterine transplant now. So if a woman doesn't have tubes, you can bypass the tubes and implant the baby in the uterus.
Okay.
If she's not ovulating, we can give her drugs to make her ovulate.
Wow.
If she refuses to ovulate, we can retrieve an egg. You can go inside and take an egg, take a sperm. No, we've gone far. If the man doesn't have live sperms, if he has done his sperm test and they said, "Oga, there's nothing," we can go into his testicle.
Oh, wow.
Pick a sperm.
That's some nutrition.
You know, and then inject it directly into the egg. You know, medical technology has gone so far advanced that as long as you have something in your pocket.
Of course, definitely. Everything comes with a price. There's hope.
There are hardly any set of couples that won't be able to offer any help whatsoever. Even if they cannot conceive, we've tried everything, there's still surrogacy. We can encourage the couple to find a couple who can carry a pregnancy and then give it to the couple after they deliver. Yes, you can take, if the man is okay, we can take his sperm, take the woman's egg, fertilize it, implant it in a surrogate mother who will have baby for them. No, I was pointing in general direction. I was pointing at you, Jane, sorry. But people then have the baby for them. You know, so and
then there are options available.
There's adoption, although it's not very popular in this environment. There's adoption, and then there's the informal sort of adoption that we do, where you'll just take a relative's baby or relative's child who perhaps is not as well off as you are, and then you raise as your own, you send to school, you know, and all that. So if, however, we do everything and we find out we cannot help a couple, yes, miracles do occur.
Happen. Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that too. So there you have it, yes. Wow. There are so many options. I'm happy to hear that there are so many options. Please don't give up. Keep declaring and keep being positive. Derry, can you please take your, I'll go first. Here are my final thoughts for tonight. None of us knows what might happen, even in the next minute. Yet we still go forward because we trust, because we have faith. You can't live without faith. Keep having that hope and faith. You cannot... You can't stop. please keep going, keep being strong. Try to ignore or leave above all that, you know, the way the society looks upon you, the way your family looks upon you. Try to live above all of that. Stay as a couple, stay focused, and please don't give up. Yeah.
Okay, my final thoughts. We must try not to sink beneath our anguish, but battle on. That's by J.K. Rowling. There's no point giving up. I know it's easier said than done. I'm not even there yet. And I just want to say that we should try as much as possible. There's pressure. But then when you are aware of what's going on, it just helps you to fight on. Don't just drown beneath it. The best you can. Even when you feel very weak, just fight on. Some days happen. I think Doctor has something.
Yes.
Well, what I'd like to say is for any couples having any difficulty getting pregnant, seek help early, seek qualified help early. See your doctor, your general practitioner, have him or her refer you to a gynecologist. There's help, out there, You can help a lot of couples, so don't give up hope.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oyesakin.
Sure.
Thanks for this enlightening session. I hope you guys learned a lot. I did, definitely.
I did too.
Yeah, we did. Well, thanks to all our callers. It's been such an amazing show. Thank you for your contribution. Thanks for all the questions. Don't forget, you can catch a repeat broadcast tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Yes, we're going to say goodbye now. We'll miss you, but we'll see you on Wednesday at 8 p.m. It's a date. From Fome, Dr. Oyesakin, and
from Adeni
Sola. It's good night.
Good night.
Good night. Have a lovely week. Bye.